Right, let's begin with insecurity and the conversation on ways to tackle the menace. At the opening of the Nigeria Governors Symposium organized by the United States Peace Institute, the governor of Katsina State and the chairman of Northwest Governors Forum, Dikko Radda, said tackling insecurity requires collective effort. Speaking on the theme of the opening session, Drivers of Insecurity and Opportunities for Stabilisation, Governor Radda explained that his administration has taken several efforts to fight insecurity in the state. Let's hear from the governor.
So you can see the level of poverty that exists in that community, which needs to be addressed. As long as you didn't address the level of poverty in that community, you have opened door for more groups into that activity. And the more you kill, the more you have people into it. So they will move to Zamfara State. But if something is being done in Zamfara State, they will also push them back. So we can be able to address and eliminate the issue drastically. And the non-kinetic approach also has to be collective. Because if I'm able to fight poverty in Katsina, if Zamfara is unable to fight poverty, that means those people that are impoverished in Zamfara will move to my state. Because there is no any demarcation that stops movement of citizens from one state to another. So it is really good to address the issue holistically and in a regional approach, and then at the national approach entirely, so that we'll have peaceful and prosperous country.
Dikko, let's begin with you on this. What's your position on what he just posited in that conference?
Listening to him, these are some of the suggestions that I had made before. If you want to employ military means against bandits, you cannot succeed by employing the piecemeal approach. You must launch attacks simultaneously across the contiguous states. Because he said something, he said that if you are doing something in Zamfara, you have to also do the similar thing in Katsina. If you launch an attack on Zamfara, they will run into Katsina to hide, because the states are interconnected, and in fact they used to be part of one big state, you know, in the 60s. So, and there are facts that we can deploy to argue that point effectively. When Katsina granted amnesty to bandits, Zamfara did not grant. Some of the bandits in Katsina moved into Zamfara to continue to
perpetrate crime,
kidnap people, and all of the crimes that they are familiar with. Because the ones who had accepted amnesty were killing those who did not want to accept amnesty, in order not to give them a bad name that our government has made promises to us. We've been given amnesty, so why should we still continue to kidnap people, to rustle cattle and all that? So, seeing that they were facing the heat from their own colleagues, they fled into a state where amnesty was not in place. So if we want to do amnesty, it has to be done across board, across all those contiguous states. When we talk about the contiguous states, we are talking about Niger, Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, even up to Kebbi, because they were all part of the same northwestern state, you know, many years ago. So, and if you are adopting the rapprochement approach, which is to make peace with them, or to give incentives to discourage them, you must also do that across the contiguous states. If you leave other states and you simply focus on one state, we can't achieve the desire.
Right.
So that is the point that I can take away from what he said. And I've always suggested that don't give them any room to escape.
Right.
If you want to use military means, launch it simultaneously across those states. There will be no escape for them. Well, that's not what we do. We've never conducted a military campaign across all of those states at the same time. We've never done that. Maybe we simply don't have the resources.
That's what I was to say there.
Because those places are very big.
Yeah.
There are some local governments in some of those states that are bigger than some states. In Zamfara, for example, there is Maru local government. It's one of the biggest in Nigeria, with some of the most dangerous forests in this country. So how do you deal with all of those problems? You want to launch a military campaign, it will require plenty of troops, it will require a lot of bombs, and all of the munition that you need for a large-scale warfare.
Yeah. Emeka, what's your position from this now, and what other options do you think we can explore in tackling banditry and nipping it in the bud once and for all?
Yeah, basically, one thing is that these bandits are largely mobile. They move from state to state. When there's heat on them on this, from this state, they move to another state. And because they can move around easily on motorcycles, so it enables them to, go through bushes, and through remote villages. Then, of course, you just find out that they spring, surprise attacks on, travelers, on security agents, and on villages, So I think basically the government ought to sustain the fight against poverty.
Right.
Very seriously to draw a lot of people out of poverty. Because, what these bandits do is that they take advantage of the fact that a lot of people are in a helpless situation. And when they offer them some cash, they can get ready recruits. And so government needs to really get to the heart of the banditry itself.
The drivers.
What's the process?
Right.
What gives them that motivation? Because as it seems now, it's basically criminally driven. There's no ideology, there's nothing. So what even gives them that impetus to be able to keep, doing these things, keep running this, running their criminal operations? And then how can government bring out draw more members, more of those bandits who are willing to surrender, who are willing to,
Surrender their arms.
Who are willing to step away from banditry. How can they get them out? And then for those of them who are caught, how many have been prosecuted? That's what Nigerians keep asking, because if you ask Nigerians to give you information, it's full information, you also have to show the records of those who have been prosecuted. Right. So that Nigerians can be confident. Right. Because if they go and give information, the information has to be taken in confidence. It should not leak to the same bandits who will go back and attack the people. They may not get information from security agencies, but they can guess that, okay, these people gave information that led to the killing of maybe some of their leaders or their members. Then they now go and attack villages. And generally, it should be the same approach, all over the country. I know security agencies are really doing a serious job, a big job, fighting insecurity. I mean, let me just give you a story. What happened to me on, on Sunday? Right. I went for the burial of one of my in-laws.
You have less than a minute.
Yes, okay. My sister's husband's father, somewhere in Umaya. And then on my way back to, the driver, in trying to avoid police checkpoints, the numerous police checkpoints, I took a detour. And guess where we passed through? The heart of unknown government territory in Imo State. And some youths blocked us on the way. You could see them, their eyes show that they were really heavily drugged. But by the grace of God, they left us to go. And if we saw a lot of villages deserted, empty. No chicken, no goats, no human being. In villages, it was a rare chance to see the heart of, that unknown government territory. And we moved through, it was shocking. And I said, we even saw a burnt police Hilux van, a burnt keke napep. So villages totally deserted. So I can imagine that this is a situation in the north, in parts of the north, in different places. People have been displaced totally. Government needs to push these people out and get the people to begin to return to their villages.
Right. Let's hope that the needful is done in the interest of the people. Well, let's quickly move on to our next issue of discussion, where in a courageous act, the family